Local disabled and queer genre-fluid artist Cacti Moon is about to release a brand new song called Arachnid Woman. Through their music, they're able to express their experience of dissociative identity disorder and share the varying identities and musicians within them. We're joined by Sam and Kira from Cacti Moon ahead of their release on the 7th of January. How did you all find each other and form the band?
Oh, it was just years of relentless searching, wasn't it?
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, because I started out living in Muswellbrook and I was just making demos with the drummer Damon and the guitarist Kyle. Then we finally moved to Newcastle, and then I was looking for a bassist and a drummer on Newcastle Muso Search, and Jen, the flautist, was like, "Excuse me, I'll be in your band.
Yeah.
You need a flautist."
Yeah.
So
you know what your music needs? Flute.
Yes, that's right. So now we have flute in every song, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
Who else? We have Laurie, the bassist.
Yeah.
So it was just like a lot of searching, and finally we're here. Kira was the last one, because I was playing keys and singing and I was so exhausted, and I was like...
You were exhausted from the wrangling the band situation as well. It's tough out here.
Yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
is. And then when we had Kira, finally we've got our 6-piece band. Yeah. She's on keys.
It didn't need keys, but I was
it needs keys,
it
mate.
needs them.
It needs keys.
It needs organ.
That's right. Everything needs organ. We need that vampy element going on.
We do.
So you have a song coming out called Arachnid Woman.
We do.
And it explores themes of sapphic desire and all sorts of dark stuff.
Yes, it does.
Tell me about how this song came about and what was the inspiration.
Yeah, I suppose that is not entirely PG, but something may or may not have gone down in the women's toilet long ago. And I suppose I have a very vivid imagination, so I kind of ran with that. I had a bit of an entanglement years ago when I wrote the song that lasted around maybe 6 months, and I suppose the intimacy and the manipulation don't go hand in hand, but that was the experience at the time. That was what I was navigating. And coming out, freshly as queer, it was confusing. And I suppose the song helped me process everything, and then we got Arachnid Woman in the end. So, I wanted to celebrate the queer intimacy as well, because people like to carry on about how dirty it is, how gross it is, this and that, and it's not. So I wanted to really run with that in the song as well. So
And so did this experience, was that the main catalyst for you working out?
I'd say so. Yeah, I'd say so. Just trying to process everything going on at the time, stepping into that part of my identity, navigating a treacherous sort of connection as well. I was like, how can I, put this in my filing cabinet in my brain and make it make sense? So, that's the song, really.
Yeah. I'd love to talk to you about what you were feeling at the time, because, for someone who hasn't gone through it out there, I personally definitely had a catalyst moment where I was like, I've got to stop pushing this away.
Yeah.
What was going through your head? Were you scared?
Definitely. I was brought up in a rural area and a lot
out in the country.
Out in the country.
She was.
And, I have a lot of, Christian conservative people in my family and around me, growing up in Catholic schools as well. You're taught to deny these parts of yourself and to alienate yourself the way others do to you. And I was just like, fuck it, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I can't deny these parts of myself. And it was this radical thing of self-acceptance and maybe 20 seconds of courage, and then I act on it, and then I've kind of dug myself a hole by that point, and I can't sort of undo that. I've got to run with, accepting myself in front of others, and then by then you can't take it back, and you keep on going.
Yeah, totally. And you've also been diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder, which you've actually harnessed through music and being able to express your alter experiences.
Yeah.
Tell me about your songwriting process and how you're able to tap into those.
I suppose it's different for every altar. Like, it was weird going through like tubs of like old journals from when I was a kid and seeing different altars, different handwriting, different vocabularies, just stacks of songs. And I assumed that they were just, processing things the same way that I do now.
Yeah.
But for me personally, like, I sit at my old 1920s upright piano and just write lyrics and kind of sink into that dissociative state. I kind of use it as my superpower in a way, because when you're in that space, everything drowns out and you can become fully immersed in, what you're doing. And I can hear every layer of performing media as I'm writing the lyrics. So that's where it all starts.
Yeah.
And then it's just a matter of communicating that when we're doing the demos and taking it to Mitta at Tommy Rock, and that's where all the ear candy comes in. So
You really honoured that though, because like all of the different songs have sort of like a different flavour. And I think that's kind of what sets us apart in, I guess, the Newcastle music scene, is that we're doing like a bunch of sort of all different genred songs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it can be, it can work against us at times, like when we're booking shows and going,
trying to
who are we
be on
going
a
to play
bill.
with?
Yeah.
But then we're just like, and that's another thing, like we were always going to exist in that liminal space between genres, between, whatever. We can't go into a box and, as pretentious as that sounds, that's just the nature of it. So we just have to go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it also, is a testament to your skills, because being able to bounce between genres and not just be, stuck in this one thing, that's amazing. And it's so cool to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's
Thank
the
you.
joy of playing in this band, I think,
Yeah.
as well. Like, just as a player, is that, like, for me, I get to experience, like, so many different, like, things.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
interesting music to play.
Well, as a jazz girl, you would love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot to say, we all come from these different, like, musical backgrounds,
Yeah.
so that kind of
Yeah.
helps. Like, I'm, like, a jazz girl.
She's a jazz girl.
I'm a jazz girl. I can't deny it.
Yeah.
And like Sam has like classical piano sort of training,
Country western.
country and western. Yeah. That's
And
it.
then we just end up with this melting pot. And,
Yeah.
it's super fun.
Yeah. And Arachnid Woman has turned out to be like a proggy metal track.
Ish, yeah. I suppose it's like the proggy, as in it's a nod to prog, but it's definitely, I'd call it like a melodic rock sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'd say the structure of it isn't exactly prog, but the instrumentation definitely. Like, we've got the auto harp going.
Yeah.
We've got, the flute, of course. And when we play live, it's a lot more proggy and experimental because we're improvising a lot.
Yeah.
Compared to, the studio recording. So, yeah.
What have been some standout performance moments?
Well, honestly, we've played one show.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
As this lineup.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was incredible when we were, dancing, watching the other bands at our first show. And I look at the door and we see Cacti Moon and then a sold out sign on our first show.
We sold out. Our
And
first
we were
show.
just like, Christ on a tractor, like, we've
Yeah.
done it.
We did.
Yeah, It was a really cool moment for us. Of course, like being on stage together as the six piece was beautiful, but that really stood out. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had that experience in another band.
No, let alone
to
like,
sell out on the first show.
the
good.
first time doing originals and that
Yeah.
happening, like it was
Yeah.
just what? Yeah, I'm still
Yeah.
processing that.
There was
Yeah.
good energy in the room as well, and good supports.
They were so great. Like
Yeah.
I forgot that I was playing because I was just enjoying them so much.
Yeah.
So,
Being so genre fluid, I'd love to know, who are your biggest musical influences?
well, for me, like, look, I'll be honest, I've been Blair and Lana Del Rey since I was 13.
Yes. Yes. I had a West Coast moment yesterday, actually. Just keep hitting repeat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly.
Let's go back.
But, I love Chelsea Wolfe. Like, I think her sound you know, definitely influences mine. I also love, like, on a personal level, the way she's so standoffish, but then when she's writing, she just opens up and says, here is all my vulnerability in a ball, have it. I'll never say it to you, you know, without singing it to you. All that she does for women, and, you know, the references to witchcraft in her music as well is so beautiful. But I also just love ZZ Top.
Yeah.
You do, mate.
I just love him.
Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Steve Earle, mate.
Wow.
Yeah. So, that's why it's just a bit of a, it's just chaos. It's chaos.
In the best way, though. You know, that's a very wide range of influences.
Yeah. But what about you, Kira? Who influences you?
Oh, mate, you know, bit of Ella.
Ella?
Ella Fitzgerald, Billy. Those are my influences.
Yeah. And the loves of your life as well.
Yeah, honestly, yes.
Relatable.
Yeah.
So once this song is released, you have a gig coming up. Tell us all about that.
Yeah, so it's on the 10th of January at the Hemo in the band room.
Beautiful.
And we have the band Second Idol from Sydney supporting. And Cheap Coffins from Wollongong. So it's going to be really cool.
Like, exciting.
So excited just to listen to them. Yeah, I've seen Second Idol before at a Pushback gig, and they were incredible. So it's going to be a really good night, I reckon.
Yeah. Have you gotten to speak with Pushback yet? Or?
Yeah, I have.
Yes.
So the first, what was it? The EP, the Lunar Lullaby EP. Maddie did a little podcast with me, and it was incredible. That was the first time I've ever had really any PR. So it was really cool.
Yeah, she's awesome.
I love what she's doing. It's just so needed as well. So
well, thank you so much for coming in. Congratulations on this brand new song, and I can't wait for your gig on the 10th of January.
Thank you. I
Thanks
hope to
for having
see
us.
you.